Hi, neighbor. Welcome to Providence. Am I live? Perfect. So, hope you all had happy holidays, Merry Christmas. I'm looking forward to a Happy New Year. It's been a while since we gave an update, but today's a pretty spectacular day. It's our 130th anniversary, so we thought it would be a perfect day to give a little update. Here in frigid Providence, it's only going to get colder, but right now I'm actually in the tap room. You can see behind me a little opening, and this is these will all be overhead garage doors opening up to our beautiful patio here. And you can see the wonderful view to the Providence waterfront. We just missed sunset, but you can see a little afterglow. You can see we're working on our furniture. Got some nice patio lawn chairs with cheers. I hope you all have a Gansett in hand. What's really special about this place is it's really the culmination of all of our hard work. Your hard work, our hard work. We had a campaign that probably started, I don't know, 10 years ago. Where if you buy a case, we'll build a brewery. And you can see we're doing it. So we'll give you a quick little tour and see some of the progress. Say hi to BJ. Technical. So Lee, you're gonna have to walk fast.
Okay.
I'm gonna walk fast. So we're still inside. This will be our main entrance right here. Up by the trucks. That'll be our parking lot. Come right up the stairs. And come on in. This way. This is a temporary wall. Ignore that. Got beautiful skylights. Right here is about where the bar is going to start. Be about 20 feet by 30 square feet. Seat about 40 people once we're done with COVID. This will all be open. The brew house will be right here underneath this other skylight. And now you can see our wonderful fermentation tanks. BJ, we're going to attempt to run that video?
No way.
No way.
Still working on the Wi-Fi in place.
All right. Let me take that. We'll put this right here. BJ, we good?
I think so.
Lee, have a seat.
All right.
So here we are. We're in the area. We've got the pit over here to the right that we affectionately call the depressed area. We're going to fill that with tanks. But super excited to get this rolling. We're hoping to open April 1st. As you can see with that brief little walkthrough, we've got a lot of work to do, but a lot of the guts is pretty much figured out. National Grid was here last week delivering our transformer and switch gear for Christmas, so it was awesome to get that delivery. And so let's just talk about the tanks for a second. This is really unique. I think everyone who's watching this sees tanks like this in every brewery that they go visit. But these are pretty unique, and we're going to refer to these as Big Buzz and Little Buzz. Big Buzz on the bottom, Little Buzz on the top. And Lee, why don't you tell us a little bit about these tanks?
Yeah, so these guys behind me are lagering tanks. So we're going to be making some great lagers out of here. These tanks are designed to give the beer a little bit more surface area with the lager yeast, which adds to a cleaner, crispier beer. And I'm so excited to put out awesome lagers out of this brewery.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit about the tanks, a little bit about this space. So initially, it'll be a 20-barrel brew house for those of you who get into that technical kind of stuff, which in simple terms, that puts out about 40 kegs at a whack. And so Lee and I have been working on our initial series of brews. We're going to have a 12 draft system to start. When we open in April, we'll start with about 7 beers. We've already kind of laid those out. And so really laying out the 17 initial brews that will go fill all these tanks here. We've got, I think, 8 20-barrel fermenters, 3 40-barrel fermenters, plus Big Buzz and Little Buzz to crank out a lot of a lot of beer. And so Lee, why don't you talk for a second about just the variety? You don't have to talk about the styles,
All right.
but just what you're going to try and accomplish here.
So we're gonna do a good balance of ales and lagers. Ales being, your typical English style beers, lagers being your more German Czech style beers. And I'm really looking for a wide variety of flavors, getting into more of the dark beers, more of the hop beers, and then the clean, crisp, light, easy drinkers too. Yeah, so fun seasonal beers, pretty much. Stuff that's fun to drink in the winter, stuff that's fun to drink in the summer. One of the good parts about working in a brewery with this variety of stuff to work with is the variety of beers that we can put out.
What about a Kettle Sour? Are you going to do one of those?
Yeah.
Why?
Because they're so fun to drink.
And this is the fun I get to have.
We have beachfront property. Why not?
We do. See, I am a lager guy, and that's what I enjoy. But of course, I look forward to everything that you're going to pump out of here. So, BJ, just as I look forward, are we doing questions? Are you?
Yeah, send them on in.
All right. So we'll do a Q&A. We'll be here as long as you want. But just send it into the Facebook feed. You know how to do that. I don't. I trust you will. And BJ will shout them out. But just so a little bit about those beers, so for those of you who weren't on our July Facebook Live. So really, it's an awesome opportunity to do a couple things. One, just bring back some of the beers that I know everybody loved and asked, like, when are you bringing it back? And so the Cream Ale, the Bach, a lot of people love the Boat Pill, so that'll certainly be coming back in due time. We mentioned the seasonals, and to be able to do, seasonally appropriate beers. But then really what I'm super excited about is just to get into the innovation game with Lee and just see what can be done in double IPAs. And I know you're especially fond of barley wine.
Yeah, we'll do a special one of those like once a year. The special thing about barley wine is you don't drink it all the time, I think.
Right.
We've got our first question.
Yeah.
The people want to know where Lee's beer is.
Where my beer is?
This might be the longest I've ever been with Lee when she hasn't had a beer. So thank you for the prompt. I'm only kidding, Lee. So.
Folks want to know a little bit about Lee. What's your background? And
So I started as a brewer in this industry 10 years ago. I started at a little place called Launch City Brewing Company out of Waltham, Mass. And from then on, I went up to New Hampshire to Smutty Nose to kind of play with the big kids a little bit. And for the past 4 years, I've been a brewer at Cambridge Brewing Company in Cambridge, Mass. And now I've landed here in Providence, which is where I call home. So I like that. It makes my commute a little shorter.
Awesome.
Yeah.
we have questions about food. What are we going to do with food here?
So food is, obviously we're in the middle of the pandemic and we're working through this. And so we really want to kind of keep things manageable and keep things under control. So to start, if you know the area, we've got like a road around the brewery that doesn't really get used anymore. So that's going to be awesome space for food trucks. So, maybe one on a Wednesday night, but certainly 3, 4, 5 on a big ass Saturday. So food trucks for certain. I think what's also really cool here is here in Fox Point on the east side in the heart of Providence, there are, especially, on Ives, there's been such a renaissance of great restaurants coupled with places that have been here forever for like Fellini's was here when I was in college. So I think a combination of awesome takeout, wonderful food trucks, and then, we'll have bite-sized things like pretzels and stuff like that. So plenty of food options to sit your ass down and hang out for a while and have a flight of beer or sample all of Lee's creations.
Awesome. Teddy Dobbin wants to know if there will be a VIP area for heritage drinkers.
There will be a special area in the basement for people like Teddy Dobbin. Teddy, how are you? I hope you're doing great. I hope your parents are doing awesome. I miss them in the neighborhood. But yes, there will be special circumstances for special people. And what I really love about this space is we're going to keep it as open as possible. And so while you can't necessarily meander through the brewery, but when some of the brew staff is here, we can do tours and things like that. So it's really going to be an interactive brewery, and so yeah, I can't wait to see you here, Teddy.
Lots of questions about some beers we haven't brewed in a little while.
Here we go.
We've got Bo Pills, Black Lager. Obviously, Robin wants to know what the cream ale tank is.
Robin Schmobin. You married her, right? No, I'm not a slave to her anymore? Perfect. Sorry, Robin.
So I think that's going to be the tank right behind Mark. We'll name it for you.
So is Bo Pills in the initial 7?
That's our number 1.
Perfect. So that is because it's a lager, and we're going to stick it in the lagering tanks. That will be Lee's first brew. So Bo Pills is coming back initially, and so yeah, it's all a sequence of things, and so I think everything that you're familiar with will come back in due time with the appropriate season. So like the porter, we're kind of missing that this winter, but that'll certainly be back next winter.
We've got questions about how contracting is going to work between here and Pawtucket and Rochester.
So this is a great question, and to give you perspective, what is that behind me? A 20 barrel?
That's a 30.
That's a 30 behind me. So the lager will stay up in Rochester, except for some innovation that, like Lee was talking about, when we dry hop lager or do different styles of lager. And really the primary reason for that is just the amount of lager we make. When we make the lager, this beer right here, it's actually made in a tank that's about, what's 4,500 divided by 30?
Oh my God, don't make me do math online.
Come on, Lee. No math online. I think it's, now I'm stuck. I think it's 150 times the size of this tank. So it's like 3 stories high, and we do that like every 3 weeks. So that would literally break this place overnight. So that'll stay there, but then, everything else, like the fresh catch and all the other beers we were just talking about, that'll be made right here and small batch and locally. So that's kind of how it will work.
Yeah, and we're going to have some brewery-only stuff, but we're also looking forward to distributing a lot of my beers out to bars in the community, which is going to be rad.
Yep.
We've got some questions on any new beers that we're looking forward to trying. I know you mentioned doing some Kettle Sours, but
yeah.
Anything else on the docket that you're really looking to kind of dive into?
Yeah, so one of our first beers that we're going to be brewing out of here is going to be a new IPA that we're debuting. It's going to be a hazier IPA, a juicier, less bitter IPA, and I'm really looking forward to getting that into people's hands. Yeah, it's a really popular style right now. It's something I love to drink and experiment with, and I think that we could put out some really amazing stuff.
Are you talking about the double right now?
No, I'm talking about the single.
Oh, the secret one?
Yeah. Oh.
It's not a secret anymore.
Oh yeah. I mean, totally. That's double.
No, so just kidding, Lee.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's great, and it's actually got a great name. It's named after a local icon, and it rhymes with rubric success, and that's about all I'm going to say. I bet you can't wait till April. It's going to be delicious.
We're also going to be doing one so we ordered some of the Pink Boots Hop Blend, and Pink Boots is obviously an organization that's near and dear to my heart, so we're going to be doing a Pink Boots hopped IPA as well, which I'm really psyched about.
Tell folks about Pink Boots.
So Pink Boots is an organization for female identifying people in the beverage industry. And they work and they hold various fundraisers and fun events throughout the year and collaboration brews and things like that to give females in the industry scholarships to further their education and get ahead in their careers. And I was lucky enough a couple years ago to get the UC Davis scholarship, which really was fantastic. I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. So Pink Boots does an amazing, amazing job helping people forward their careers. And they're just all around awesome people. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Any plans on a museum or a space to kind of look at the history here?
Yeah, so what, I've really been looking forward to having this place to showcase 130 years of history, right? Hopefully you enjoyed, the last 13 weeks that BJ put together on social media, where we had, a different decade every
2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks, I guess, so 26 weeks. Yep. And so to the extent that we've got all of that stuff, a lot of it will be kind of interspersed throughout the tap room. So not necessarily a space to start, but there's a 2-story building here that's really kind of phase 2 of the project here, and that will ultimately be a history room, and then hopefully an event space once we get outside of COVID, and then in our wildest dreams, kind of a way to get up on the roof and have an awesome roof deck overlooking India Point Park. So yeah, definitely looking forward to showcasing all that stuff. And a funny story, great story, just so typical of our history and just the power of the brand over all these years. When we did a ton of digging on site, whether it was for National Grid or Narragansett Bay Commission or Providence Water, or just internally here, just to get down deeper, getting into the ground a ton. And one time we found an underground storage tank that was literally the size of a school bus, that was fun to get rid of. But more fun was they actually found like this little cache of empty bottles, and so there was this an old spirits bottle, and then also with that was also a bottle of Narragansett beer with the label kind of roughed out. And I'm looking forward to finding a special place in here with a little plaque. It was almost like serendipity to find this place and this beer just buried below the surface, almost like calling us to come back here. So really cool bottle, and we'll find a special place in here for that.
Kurt Strickmaker down in Nashville wants to get us down there as soon as the dust settles.
Well, Kurt, good to hear from you. I hope everyone's okay down in Nashville. You've had a lot going on there the last 18 months or so, but I look forward to getting back down there. Awesome place to party, and your team is also always so such great hosts. So I look forward to seeing you, my friend. And we've got a hotel next door. I look forward to having you and Tonka and the rest of the team up here in due course.
Sean Johnson says this is the longest time that it's taken you to drink a beer.
Sean, I'm actually pacing myself because my wife is probably also watching this too. And so while you think it's taking a long time, she's probably asking, why is he drinking so fast? So thank you for pointing that out, Sean.
We've got a couple questions about the timeline. When do we think we'll be drinking beer out of here?
So the ultimate timeline is, you see the fermentation tanks. The brew house isn't here yet. It's been done, waiting for us in Louisiana for, about 6 months now. And so it's scheduled to arrive on February 8th. And so, there's just a lot of infrastructure work to get done this month until then. And then they'll hook it up. And then once it lands here, then what happens, Lee?
Once it lands here, they're going to hook it all up, which takes about a month. And then we're going to get right to it.
Right.
So March 8th, which happens to be International Women's Day, is going to be the date of our first brew on the system.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, as a father of 4 daughters, I think we should aim extremely hard at that date and make it happen. So March 8th, it's going to get done, and then we'll have a couple soft openings and ready to rock and roll in April. And so yeah, it's going to happen fast.
I know.
We've got some questions. I know we're in the middle of the pandemic here, but we've got some questions about events in the future, 5Ks, 10Ks. What is the space going to look like for events?
So events, what I love about this space, even with COVID, is we've got a lot of space anyway, but then there are just nooks and crannies all over the place where, we can bump into the loading dock area on weekends. And then I mentioned that the street around us, hopefully we can work with the city. And so anybody from the city who's watching, please work with us. But no, they've been so great letting businesses work their way into the streets and sidewalks. And so to be able to work into that space, and then there's also a kind of a DOT envelope, grassy knoll, so to speak, around it. So tons of space to really work with. And so I think, once we get past this, it's like sky's the limit on everything we can do here, and just the great connectivity with the park across the street, and just do like really big ass festivals. And then, you said 5Ks and all that. We can do smaller things on the bike path to just come out here, and then just leisurely, have a meet and greet with your friends on a Sunday or a Saturday, and just take a ride and come back here and have a beer and just chill out and all that kind of stuff. Walk over the pedestrian bridge, go take your dog for a walk, come in here, have a beer, and so I think it's just it's why I fell in love with this location in the first place. It's the on-ramp to the highway is literally 75 yards over there. The park, I'm looking at it right now, and someday in my lifetime, I'd love to swim in the water out there and not have to worry about the last 125 years of contamination. But small steps, and I think it's going to be great. I look forward to sharing it with everybody.
Awesome. We've got a few folks from our team kind of tuning in. People want Mandy to run a trivia or karaoke night.
Oh man.
It's good to see so many of our own team kind of in here saying hello. We have some non-home questions. A lot of folks are always writing in asking us about different states. This one's particularly Texas. What's it like to open up new markets?
So the biggest challenge, honestly, is the cost of getting it there, right? So it's really trucking is expensive, and so getting it to Texas, it's just thousands of miles away. So someday, I think we'd have to find some production down there to make it a reality. But yeah, I'd love to be in Texas. I know San Francisco is probably the place that's requesting Narragansett beer the most. There's so many East Coast transplants over there. So slowly but surely, I mean, it was great to open up Ohio last year, and then Indiana this year. So we're working our way. Maybe Chicago, and my family's from Wisconsin. I got tons of family there. So one state at a time.
Do we know what the next state we're launching is? Probably.
So next state, I don't know, can everyone online hear your questions, BJ? But
yep.
So next state, probably not going to enter any new states in 2021. Really focusing on everything here, and we've just got so much work to do, especially coming out of pandemic. The cities were some of the hardest hit areas, and we sold so much beer in bars in Philly and DC and New York City and obviously Boston and here in Providence. So I think most of our efforts are going to be focused on working with helping everyone get back on their feet and really building back what we had before we start going into other states.
We've got Greg Zanella says congrats. We know that Greg's done a lot for us over the many years.
Greg is a champion. Hi, Greg. Merry Christmas. Greg runs a show in Connecticut for us with his protege, Tom LaRosa. Hi, Tom, if you're watching. But yes.
So, it's a big day for us because we're celebrating 130 years. But someone wants to know a little bit about how we restarted. I know that's a story you've told a couple times in the past. You want to a little bit on our 15 year?
So yeah, I guess it's 15 and a half years since the restart, and which is, it's incredible to think it's been that long now. But you know, really started in, I guess, whatever that would have been, 2004, when you know, there's a great bar in Newport, Cappy's, and Cappy's Hillside Cafe, and I remember going in there with a friend, and just, you got to remember, this is 2003, 2004, and there weren't 8,000 breweries in America like there are today, and so it was like Bud Light, Coors Light, Sierra, Boston Lager, and not much else. And I was looking for something different. I was working with Magic Hat at the time, and I said, hey, what else you got? And this guy, who turned out to be Harry Walker, said, give the kid a Gansett. And it was amazing. Like the next thing you know, the whole bar is talking about Narragansett beer, and I was like, shit, whatever happened to Narragansett? I just, you know, growing up in Rhode Island, I just remembered how big it was, but then it just sort of disappearing. And you know, long story short, I just I fell in love with the stories and the passion that people had for it, and I was like, man, it deserves a better fate than what it seemingly had, which was near death. And so I got together with Bill Anderson, who was the last brewmaster in Cranston, and he had the old recipe, and we brought that back up in Rochester, New York, and started winning some awards and reconnecting and just rebuilding those stories and the history and ultimately the promises of what the beer should be. And so it's been pretty good. Lee, you got big shoes to fill. I think. I think at least Bill told me that there were only like 4 brewmasters during his 115 years. Because people would get that job and just have it for so long. And Otto Henn was the first one, and then he was obviously the last one. And so you'll be the next one. And so yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah, so it'll be great, and it's been an awesome ride, and it'll be awesome to kind of continue the next chapter in a place right here in Providence, which, I mean, shit, it's just so, I went to college here. My first house was, you know, when I moved here from Chicago, we lived about 3 blocks down the street, so it's almost like this homecoming for me as well, so it's pretty awesome.
We've got questions about the East Bay Bike Path, and we'll have some bike racks up front.
Yeah, so working with the Steel Yard actually to get some bike racks made, and you know, I think it's like 15 miles down to Cold State Park from here, all along the East Bay, and then this also connects up into I think the Blackstone Valley Path. I think you got to go on some roads and whatever in between. But so I think that's just like one of the many things that we can do here. It's like, you know, I've got some great friends who do the Pan Mass Challenge, and they've talked about doing rides down the bike path, and so whether it's an organized ride or just something super casual amongst you know, buddies just meeting here and then going out, I think we'll have bike racks, and hopefully we'll fill them up, and yeah, I look forward to people in spandex drinking your beer.
Yes.
Lee, folks want to know what your favorite beers to drink and brew are.
Ooh, so my favorite beer to brew would probably be a Pilsner, just because it's kind of the litmus test for any good brewer. Like, if you can brew a good Pilsner, like, you're pretty good. My favorite beer to drink depends on the season, the time of day, everything. But I'm going to say barley wine, because that has become, you know, that's the beer that got me into craft beer pretty much. That's the beer that made the light bulb go on and made me say, like, wow, beer's kind of different than what I thought it was. Yeah.
What I love about Lee is she's very diverse, and I think one thing we talked about when we first met was just brewing and enjoying a wide variety of beer, and while there are certain beers that are super popular right now, to be able to go back and brew the classics and exceptionally well. And I think what's going to be really cool for people to come here and see is, like, a brown ale may not be the most sexy beer in the world right now, but you're going to come here, say next fall or winter maybe, and have a really terrific brown ale. And then, you know, when we were out on Vinny's boat this fall, kind of celebrating the summer and cutting loose a little bit, Lee wasn't afraid to have some shameless plug for some of our other beers. Lee wasn't afraid to crank back a bunch of Dell's Rhode Island hard teas.
Yeah.
So,
Love that stuff.
so she's very diverse.
Some folks missed the holiday ale this year.
Yeah, so holiday ale, really with the speed bump we hit here, you know, the original plan was to open here in early November, and we hit some speed bumps on the construction front. So with that timing gap, we missed it, which was a total bummer. But I think obviously we'll bring something back next year, and look forward to seeing Lee put her twist on that and bring it back. So hell yeah, we'll keep going.
Some folks they missed the made-on-honor market this year, which was a bummer, but the right move.
Is that Robin?
What's that?
No, I'm kidding. So the Made on Honor market was such a great event. I think we did it, 3 times or 2 times, BJ? 3?
4.
4? God, that thing really exploded. So in any event, it was unfortunate, like so many other things that we just couldn't do. And so as things change, and with space here, you know, BJ, who's kind of behind the computer here, is really the heart and soul behind that for us. And what will be really cool is I think just when you talk about events here, or you ask about events here, I think that's one of the cool things that we can do, where we'll bring back the Made on Our market, but more importantly, I think we can have periodic events here where we showcase some of the artists and craftsmen, and have a situation where they can, you know, tell about their craft and sell what they do here. So to be able to really make this more than just a tap room, but really kind of bring all the things that we do to life, whether it's the summer running festivals that Jim does, or the Made on Honor market that BJ does, or some of the, you know, live music. It's just, I think that's what we've all missed this year, and just having a conversation in a bar with somebody. And so to bring all that stuff back is definitely going to happen. And I think that's what's cool about this is it's just, you know, just turning the page on this year, and just looking hopefully towards next year and a lot of years to come.
We miss all you guys. We'll see you soon.
Yeah.
We've got a question from Jared. If we have any hope to build a new Gambrinus for the brewery?
That is Jared a sculptor? It would be great if nobody knows what Jared's talking about. King Gambrinus greeted all visitors at the old brewery in Cranston. I think Mr. Thuberge is going to be mad at me for probably quoting this wrong, but Gambrinus is the patron saint of beer, and so he's certainly an apropos welcomer at the brewery. So, Jared, if you're a sculptor, give us a ring and let's talk about recreating it.
I think we're looking pretty good on questions.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's been awesome, sort of, to connect over the internet. I certainly miss. I know BJ misses, and Lee wasn't around, but I know you would have loved a good party. So we've had some epic ragers on our anniversary in the past, and look forward to turning the page on this year and getting to 131 next year here, and just a freaking epic rager to celebrate our first year here in Providence, and everything that you're going to do, and all the beer that you're going to enjoy, and just the fun times and everything. So happy anniversary to us. Thank you for continually drinking Narragansett beer and just the love that we all share as neighbors, I guess, right? So happy New Year, goodbye 2020, fuck COVID, and let's go kick ass in 2021. Cheers.